Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarita V. Here we focus on basically sewing and vintage fashion. I did buy a 1930s, 1940s home, and there will be some projects that focus on restoring some 1940s items or getting them up and running in my house. So those will be included too. And today we are working on getting the bobbin winder replaced on the Sewmor 606 vintage machine. It's from probably the early 60s, maybe late 50s, and it is a beauty. And it runs very nicely. So I need to get the bobbin fixed. I bought some bobbin winders. I think I got them off of Etsy. I'll leave the link in the description. I also found a manual and I printed it up because I don't have a computer down here. The link is in the description. And then I also have some spare fabric. The original bobbin is actually in the machine and full right now. So who knows how many years that's been in there. So we'll be pulling that out too. So you'll need the bobbin, obviously. So let's get started. The bobbin winder I got is about 1 inch in diameter. And this was the only size I really found. So I'm thinking that they're pretty standard. This is the bobbin winder. If you look at it, the actual rubber belt to make the machine go is right here. And I had no idea when I was looking at this, because it's so close, if I needed to also feed the belt through here because this was missing. So I didn't really understand what was going on. But it's really simple. You just flip that on there. The rubber is stretchy, and there you go. Now that we have the casing out, I wanted to show you, we've got the bobbin. Ooh, we got some dust. So we got the bobbin with some good sturdy cotton thread. Who knows how old that is? And we've just got the casing. The casing has a little area for you to hang onto. So when you insert it, you can hang onto it and put it into place. It's got this little arm on it too that goes up. It's pretty standard. I've seen this in Kenmore's and Singer's, so you could probably get a replacement pretty easily on this. And I know a lot of the Japanese models, so they were shipped without these nameplates, and they had standard tags, and depending on which company was selling them, they would just ship out a different nameplate. So, you know, you might be able to find this machine as a Kenmore or a White or something similar, but I haven't seen this, and what I love about it is not only the color, but I love this brightly colored placard here with the numbers and the little dial. You don't really see that. It's got this section here with the darning and the nameplate right there. So pretty neat machine. To get the bobbin feature running, we need to disengage the presser foot, the go forward action. So we're going to turn this to get it going. And you need a little tiny bit of muscle, but not too bad. So if you can see that, it just does like 1/8 of a turn. And now it should be free. You can see this is no longer moving, but if we turn that, it will cause the foot to move. So I'm going to turn that back. To start, you put the thread on the little darner spindle here, and then you feed the thread through the little pulley here. And then we're going to move up. So I've got my loose thread. I'm going to wind it around the bobbin a few times. And I think I went the wrong direction the first time, but it doesn't matter because it's really, really fast, unlike some other machines. So I've got that kind of spun through, put it on the spindle, and I'm gonna push the button in. This drops down and engages, and then hold this your thread a little tiny bit taut, and you can, oh, and I did it the right way this time. And I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I always like to make sure that that loose thread, the little one that's hanging out, I will cut it sometimes, but if I don't cut it, I will make sure that it is really tightly wound at first. There you go. All right, and I find that it helps to just put a little finger there just to kind of guide it, depending on how secure your thread is. Like this is kind of wobbly, and I think it's causing it to jump, and then this disengages. So I just like putting a little pressure there and holding it. Make sure it winds evenly. That way, if it jumps off this, you don't have any problems. So there you go. I got a full bobbin. I'm ready to load it. I'm only going to fill this part way because I don't need a whole spool of yellow bobbin. But what happens is when this gets full, it will disengage and it will stop. So it'll sense that the bobbin is getting full, and this will end up kicking up. So just wanted to say that that's a nice little feature. I only do that really with like white and black threads. So yeah, unless I have extra bobbins, I'll only fill them part way for what I need. Now we're going to place the bobbin in the case, and like I mentioned, there is this little arm. So we're going to open it. If you have that open, you can hold the case, and you can you won't lose the bobbin. And that's like the worst thing ever, and that's probably why this style got changed to a drop-in bobbin, because it's really easy to lose it. So I've got the thread over and facing me, and I'm just going to place that inside, and there is a little slot right here. I'm going to bring the thread through, and I'm going to feed it under this extra, there's an extra piece of metal there that's held on with the screw. That helps provide tension. And there's a little tiny hook around the edge. So I'm going to just kind of feed it right through there until it comes out into the middle. There you go. And it kind of snaps in place, and you can see that the thread's coming out of the hole. So there's a little tiny bit of tension on that now. It's not just free flowing. And bobbin can fall out because I'm not holding this, so it's very important that you hold that. Otherwise you'll be sad and you'll be picking your bobbin off the floor. In order to put the bobbin in correctly, you'll have to have your machine threaded, and I will post another video of that up. So here you can see I've got my needle threaded, and I've got my thread pulled tight there. And now we're going to put the bobbin in. We're now looking at the shuttle, and you can see there's a big old hole that we need to put the bobbin in. So for the sake of this camera shot, so that you can actually see what's going on, I'm coming in from underneath, which is kind of uncomfortable, but it works. Okay, and I had this pulled. Now I'm going to release it. This is in that little tiny slot right there. And my thread is still loose, but we're going to pick that up in just a second. I have my bobbin inserted. I'm putting down the shuttle plate, and I'm now going to hold this thread and turn my hand wheel. What it's doing is it's picking up the bobbin. I've got this little loop here that's from the bobbin, and it's now being brought up. There you go. And now for testing. That is looking very good. Really nice stitch on the top. Looks like I need to do a little work with the tension on the back, but overall, very pleased. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that this bobbin tutorial helped. Like I said, a lot of Japanese models came over as nameless, and once they were in the US and Canada, they were named a lot of brands like White or Kenmore, and there's a lot of really weird one-offs like Sewmor or Planet and other kind of fun, funky names. So even if you don't have a Sewmor, you might have a vintage machine that's very similar and functions just like this. So I hope that this helped, and there are other videos, so check out my Sewmor playlist, and I think it's time for me to get going and get to some sewing. Bye!